Good evening. Welcome to this special council meeting of the Council of Town of Oakville. This has been called for the sole purpose of an appointment to fill the vacancy in the office of Town Councillor in Ward 4. Madam Clerk, we have regrets from Councillor Chisholm and Councillor Robinson. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? I see none. We have no delegations this evening, and our one and only discussion item is the appointment. In accordance with Council's unanimously approved voting process for the appointment, each candidate shall be given the opportunity to address Council for not longer than 5 minutes. The order of speaking will be determined by lot. There will be no questions, and Council will proceed to vote immediately after all nominees are heard without discussion. The first applicant with a majority of the votes will be seated as a voting member at the end of the meeting tonight. Ballots have been prepared by the clerk, and the candidates are listed in alphabetical order on the list I'm going to read. Members will vote for one candidate on the ballot by marking an X in the space provided to the right of the candidate's name. The clerk shall collect and count the completed ballots. Votes will be recorded on a spreadsheet to be displayed on the overhead. The candidate that receives the votes of more than 1/2 of the number of members present will be declared as the successful candidate. More than one vote may be necessary, as the candidates with the fewest number of votes are excluded from the voting until a majority vote is achieved. New ballots will be distributed for each vote. Now, we will now begin. The following persons have signified in writing that they are legally qualified to hold the office of councillor and consented to accept the office if they are appointed tonight to fill the vacancy of town councillor for Ward 4. Lee Conley, Joel Dart, Rohit Damija, David Haslam, Hart Jansen, Peter Longo, Peter McFarling, Cheryl McCullough, Adrian Paris, Sushila Pereira, Gerald Pop, Jordan Rosenberg, Christopher Saunders, Adnan Shabazz, Oliver Vados, and Bob Vaudry. One candidate, Lois Neffler, has withdrawn. Madam Clerk, will you now draw the first candidate's name?
The first candidate to speak is Gerald Pop.
Mr. Pop, welcome. If you'd come to the central podium, it's your turn to address council with your 5-minute presentation.
Good evening, Your Worship and councillors. Thank you very much for this opportunity for me to tell you why I believe that you should appoint me to fill the vacant Ward 4 council seat. I currently reside in Ward 4 and have done so for 18 years. My wife and I have been residents of Oakville for over 39 years, and over that time I've been an active participant in many community organizations such as the United Way of Oakville, the Oakville Community Foundation, the Oakville Chamber of Commerce, and the Oakville Trafalgar Memorial Hospital Foundation Gala Organizing Committee. With United Way, I served on the board and at various times chaired its governance and nominating committee and the finance committee, and I served on the campaign cabinet for 3 years. With the Community Foundation, I was a board member for 7 years and at various times chaired the board, chaired the governance and nominating committee, as well as the CEO selection committee. I chaired the board of the Chamber of Commerce after serving on its board for many years and chaired its finance committee. I chaired the Hospital Gala Organizing Committee for 2 years and served on the committee for a total of 4 years. My involvement with these organizations and others has given me a good insight into our community and many of the issues for which we need to find a fix. It has also given me significant committee experience, which I believe would be an asset should I be appointed to council. During my time with these organizations, I was always well prepared for board and committee meetings and now that I'm retired, I'll have ample time to properly prepare for council meetings and to meet with Ward 4 residents as the need arises. Prior to my retirement, 6 years ago, I was a partner with Grant Thornton, LLP, a national firm of public accountants. During my 42 years with Grant Thornton, at various times, I served as the firm's director of training. I twice served on its national policy board. I managed its Toronto office and later the Mississauga office, and I headed the firm's GTA tax group. I believe that the significant financial experience I attained during my career provides me with a solid base from which to understand and vote on the many financial issues with which council must deal. In recognition of my career achievements and my leadership contributions to the community and the profession, I was elected as a Fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Ontario. I'm seeking your appointment because I see this as another opportunity for me to make a contribution to my community. To prepare for my possible appointment, I have recently attended Council and Planning and Development Council meetings. I have read the Town of Oakville Procedures Bylaw, as well as Council 2015 to 2018 Strategic Plan, which I fully support. Over the years, because of my general interest in the happenings in my community, I've attended several council and public meetings and watched many more on television. Recently, I've paid particular attention to those meetings relating to the proposed development of the Glen Abbey Golf Club lands, the most important issue in Ward 4 at this time. I am pleased with and support the steps council has taken to block the proposed development and to protect this heritage property. If appointed, I'll work closely with Councillor Elgar to properly represent the residents of Ward 4, and I will work with all council members to make decisions that are in the best interest of all current and future Oakville residents. In June, my board term with the Oakville Community Foundation ends, and thus the only organization of which I'd still be a director is the Canadian Club of Halton. I would not be bringing to council an affiliation to any organization which may have a vested interest in issues before council. If appointed, my career as a member of council will end this fall. I will not run for election on October 22 unless your appointment of me would not be referred to as an endorsement of me in any campaign material. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Pop, for your information. Madam Clerk, the next draw.
The next candidate is Peter McFarlane.
Welcome, Mr. McFarlane. Council looks forward to your information.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come before the Mayor Burton and the members of the council with regard to this opportunity. In the covering letter and resume that I attached to my application, there was a description, a lengthy description of my career in the finance and accounting business, both within the private sector in banking and insurance, as well as in the public sector, both at the federal, municipal, and provincial levels. And this, of course, is underpinned by an undergraduate degree in economics and my continued progress in an executive MBA program. Concurrent with that, all that experience has been 13 years served locally here with 2 of the local charities that are ongoing, and I've been very pleased to be associated with them and to assist them in continuing their valuable work within the community, and I continue to do that. I'm also a veteran of 2 federal and 1 municipal election campaigns, having assisted a number of candidates to the successful run at their offices. And I am very pleased to have, during that campaign, to have gone door to door to meet many of the constituents and to listen to their concerns about the way the town is operated, and the region for that matter, And I've been very pleased with the response that I've had, and was very gratified to see that the candidates that I was supporting have made it into office. And I've been very gratified with the fact that in all the organizations that I've worked in, the roles that I've been in, I've been able to effect change in many ways to those organizations, and that includes one of the charitable organizations here in Oakville. I'm very pleased to offer my candidacy for that position. I'm a very active and proactive and energized individual, and look forward to new opportunities and new challenges. And I thank you for your time, and if you haven't, and the answers to questions 4 and 10 are yes.
Thank you very much for your information, sir.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, the next draw.
The next candidate is Cheryl McCullough.
Welcome, Ms. McCullough. Council looks forward to your information.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Burton and Council. My name is Cheryl McCullough. I've resided in Oakville for over 37 years. I've been together with my best friend and my husband, Peter, for over 20 years now. He is a Toronto firefighter as well as an acting platoon chief, and has been so for over 37 years. Tonight, I'm with my beautiful and brilliant daughter, Victoria. She is a student at St. Thomas Aquinas. My son, Ryan, is at his confirmation rehearsal tonight with my husband at St. James. Oakville's Town Council is legislated by a governing body of the municipality of Oakville. Members are elected by the residents for a 4-year term of office throughout the progress of municipal election. Council's responsibility is to work with other council members to set overall direction of the municipality through their role as policymaker, creating new policies and programs or reviewing the current ones to make sure they are working as they should. The Municipal Government Act provides that council can only exercise powers of the municipal corporation in proper form, either by law or resolution. The next municipal election will take place on October 22nd. I have not committed to my family nor to my constituents in Oakville to run for this municipal election. While tonight's meeting is not of an ordinary process, it is, however, in accordance with the rules of the Municipal Act. Tonight's decision is a special appointment to fill the Ward 4 seat. It requires a majority of members to vote for this individual. I am positive and hopeful that I have the majority vote from Council this evening. As a councillor, I will take into the consideration of the interests of the constituents of Ward 4, being their voice to bring Council's attention to anything that would promote the welfare and interest of the community. I promise to keep confidence in all matters, in private, at council meetings, until discussed at meetings in public or resolution of town-wide issues. I strongly believe that I have what it takes to overseeing the business of the Town of Oakville Corporation, setting policy direction while reviewing land and the development, incorporating the authorization and revenues of expenditures with municipal services. That will move Oakville in a positive direction and meets the needs of the expectations of the community. One of the biggest challenges facing the community is the redevelopment of the Glen Abbey Golf Cart Club lands. There has been several meetings held at council chambers to address this issue. I am grateful for the work that council in their brilliant strategic move in the recommendations for the official plan amendment, otherwise known as OPA 16 and 24, which was adopted by council prior to Bill 139 coming into effect. On or about February 16th, 2018, Council for Club Link Corporation filed an appeal. I understand that this matter is now still before the courts, and I thank the council and the mayor for their effort and strategic planning in the measures they've put into place so far. Last, and kindly note, I stand behind Oakville's strategic plan. It is guided by three fundamental elements: our vision, our mission, and our values. Council's strategic plan includes 5 key areas: good governance, environment leadership, economic growth, fiscal sustainability, outstanding service to the residents. Each area of focus is connected to specific action items, key measures, and targets, which drive the plan towards Council's vision to be Oakville the most lovable town in Canada. I support the 2015/18 strategic plan, and I'm very proud and grateful for this council and the mayor for their accomplishments to date. Thank you for tonight.
Thank you very much, Ms. McCullough, for your information.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, the next draw.
The next candidate is Rohit Damija.
Mr. Demija, welcome. Council looks forward to your information.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Your Worship, distinguished members of Council, ladies and gentlemen. I'll break down tonight's presentation under the following headings: who am I? What have I achieved? Why am I here tonight? And answers to some of the questions posed. As the Mayor said, I'm Rohit Damija. I'm an immigrant success story, a well-integrated Canadian. I've lived all over Canada, and I'm now settled in Oakville for the last 15 years. I'm married to my rock, Catherine, and blessed with 3 lovely children. I belong to the second most trusted profession in the world. I'm a pilot with Air Canada, and this accords me the luxury of working on average only 12 days a month. As my wife says, it's the best full-time, part-time job to have. I own an aviation consulting firm. I set up corporate flight departments on the side. I'm a volunteer with passion for community service. I'm part of the volunteer involvement program and ambassador for the Air Canada Foundation. I'm a volunteer pilot and member for Dreams Take Flight, an Air Canada volunteer rally for kids with cancer, Captain Air Canada Aero Mobro Movember team, member Lions Club Oakville, founding and current president Bronte Creek Community Residents Association, 6 years running. What have I achieved? I have a passion for helping others through community service. I started out in Alberta as an immigrant farmhand 30 years ago, volunteering to assist farmers during harvest, and as a volunteer cowboy, helping ranchers herd their cattle. Picture that. Fast forward 2006, when we moved to our new home in Bronte Creek, I organized street parties that raised funds for Starlight Children's Foundation 3 years running. I morphed that effort into the establishment of the Bronte Creek Community Residents Association. There are some of the major achievements of the BCCRA under my leadership as following: 6 successful annual Earth Day cleanups, 3 annual charity golf tournaments, which raised $25,000 for the Oakville Hospital Foundation, and we have a room with a plaque, our name on it, at the Oakville Hospital. We are the only residents association to accomplish this feat, as confirmed by the mayor. We've advocated the establishment of a community skating rink in Bronte Creek, and I thank the town for that. We've been successful in obtaining sponsorship for Bronte Creek Family Movie Nights. BCCRA's next movie night is scheduled September 8th. Join us, please, for a night of music, fun, and entertainment. More information on the bccra.ca website. I've been successful in obtaining or organizing car seat clinics in conjunction with the OPP and a local car dealership. Thanks to Councillor Knoll, we've used C-Click Fix successfully at the BCCRA. I inspired and motivated my friends, my neighbors, and my colleagues to join me and make BCCRA a success story and bring my ideas to fruition. As a family, we also sponsor a child overseas, and we've adopted a trail in Bronte Creek. I've successfully lobbied Air Canada Foundation to donate tickets to various local charity foundations, organized Halton-based Air Canada employee parties collecting non-perishable food items for the Fair Share Food Bank 3 years running. There's a lot more to tell, but I think I must move on. Why am I here tonight? Simply put, my passion for community service. I've traveled the world and witnessed how municipalities function efficiently. I know why bicycle highways, all-way pedestrian crossings, traffic circles, transportation truck rules, photo radar, and red light cameras are something that we should be aware of and look at implementing for the plan for future and livable Oakville. On account of being a father of young children and a world traveler, I will bring diverse perspective and diverse ideas to council. I know that ideas are the lifeblood of progress. Some of the issues, well, the Glen Abbey Golf Course proposal, and I wholeheartedly agree with the direction the council has taken. Affordable housing, traffic, volume, speeding, stop sign disobedience, transportation infrastructure, including the CN proposed terminal, which was on the council agenda last week. Decision to run. Well, I must inform you that I will be running in the next municipal election, and I know some of you have expressed concerns. Please allow me to provide you with a different perspective. There isn't enough time to be recognized. I strongly believe for council, the best return for investment is to appoint me, a person vested in the community, passionate about public service, and with long-term plans to serve Oakville and its residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. DeMajor, for your information. Madam Clerk, the next draw.
This candidate is Jordan Rosenberg.
Mr. Rosenberg, welcome. Council's looking forward to your information.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor Burton, town councilors, staff, and guests. Overnight parking, dog parks, farmers market, and Glen Abbey, of course, these are some of the topics Ward 4 residents are discussing. My name is Jordan Rosenberg. I believe my unique experiences and skill set would be a valuable asset to represent Ward 4 as the appointed town councilor, as well as running for council in the upcoming October election. Let me start, I haven't heard anyone yet, but mention how much I absolutely love and have a passion for living in Oakville. I appreciate over the years how council in one small issue has made green space and the environment and parks and trails a priority in this town. My wife, who's here with me tonight, Annie, we often run the trails or walk our 8-year-old golden retriever through the trails, and the foresight of council and the city planners is certainly greatly appreciated. I've read the Livable Oakville plan and appreciate all that council has and is doing. Close to the hearts of many Ward 4 residents is the Glen Abbey Golf Course proposal for over 3,000 houses and homes. Many will be pleased in the ward to learn about the newly created Local Planning Appeal Tribunal, or LPAT, which will replace the OMB going forward and should be more sympathetic to council and the community concerns regarding the proposed housing development. Ward 4 has much to offer: 16 Mile Creek, wooded trails, the new Oakville Hospital, parks, shopping, and schools. My stepdaughters, Zoe and Sophie, have been attending St. Trinity Catholic French School in Ward 4 since it opened 5 years ago. What's the role of a councillor? Simply, councillors generally act as the legislative branch of the city government, as well as its policy-making body. The council also looks to the city's goals, major projects, and infrastructure improvements, ranging from community growth to land use to finances and strategic planning. In short, the councillors must represent the needs of the community, in this case, Ward 4, while balancing the needs of the city. My experience, 28 years working in finance. I've seen my fair share of budgets, balance sheets, profit and loss statements, and I enjoy being accountable for executing budgets and plans for positive outcomes. 10 years working as a full-time financial advisor business coach. It was never my agenda that mattered. It was always my clients' goals and aspirations, which has made, I believe, into a very good listener. And I'm very passionate about the town of Oakville's growth, consistent with the spirit of the Livable Oakville plan. Why appoint me? Well, I was born in August of 1969 in Kitchener, Ontario. My father, Morley Rosenberg, was a family lawyer and also at the time was a city councillor. For the next 9 years, I watched and learned what a city councillor did and how he listened to the concerns of the community. Then he became mayor for 3 terms and taught me 3 important things. 1, always get involved in the community. Number 2, be open to changes and suggestions for growth. And 3, learn to be a great listener. The last few years, he's successfully beaten cancer and continues to be a huge influence for me to this day, and I appreciate, Dad, you being here tonight to support me. I believe my 10 years working as a full-time business coach to advisors has created a solid base of understanding people's needs. My background in finance and my eagerness to give back, like my father, can make a small difference in this big city's plans to grow while preserving what matters most. In summary, I believe in Oakville, what council has done in the past and what council will achieve going forward. It's a dream town, not only for its sister cities in Japan, China, and Dorval, but also for all of Canada, as is in your vision statement, to be the most livable town in Canada. And when I think about that, I often think of dreams and a quote by Christopher Reeves. And if you know who Christopher Reeves is, he's a Hollywood actor who played Superman in many movies in the late 80s and early 90s, and he had a terrific quote. He said, "At first, dreams seem impossible, and then slowly, over time, they become improbable. And when you summon the will, they become inevitable." So I'd very much like to be part of the Oakville dream representing Ward 4, continuing a family tradition of giving back to the community. My name is Jordan Rosenberg. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for your information, sir. Madam Clerk, the next draw.
The next candidate is Oliver Vadas.
Mr. Vadas, welcome. We'll wait till you get your presentation up and ready.
Do I go back? That's the first slide.
Welcome. We look forward to your information.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I decided to submit my application for the council because I strongly believe that I can contribute to further improvement what the town of Oakville has already achieved. Protecting the environment and green space, road safety, public transportation, crime prevention, support youth groups and seniors, attracting new businesses, and improve tourism, cultural events that I'm already contributing to. Serving the Oakville community is not new for me. In cooperation with the Chamber of Commerce and the economic development of the town, I published the Oakville Business Directory from 2003 to 2005. Each issue included both the printed versions and CDs. Searchable electronic directories were already at that time present, but it was cutting-edge technology. Fast forward to 2017. To replace the canceled Oakville Jazz Festival, I created and stayed on as the producer of a not-for-profit monthly dinner theater-style concert series at the Bronte Harbor Banquet Center. West End Jazz is its second very successful season, attended not only by Oakville residents, by attracted visitors from Windsor to Oshawa, from Mississauga to Peterborough. An email I received just this morning at 9:28 is just one of the compliments I received from people who come. "Hi, Oliver. Thank you for putting jazz back in Oakville." So what do I bring to the table? I hold a bachelor degree in electrical engineering and a master's degree in communication. My professional career provided the opportunity to develop diversified experience and build an extensive skill set. I can lead and coordinate. As a product manager of an electronic equipment manufacturer in Montreal, I was responsible for design, manufacturing, marketing, and customer support of an entire product line. I'm successfully generating, implementing new ideas. At the Pulp and Paper Research Institute, my department had the mandate to find applications for emerging technologies like artificial intelligence was at that time. I'm a team player. Served on and often chaired committees and in the Research Institute and professional associations like the Canadian Pulp and Paper Association. Information distribution was always my passion, and I loved the publication aspect of all my jobs. To follow the passion, I left the Institute and created an independent publishing house specialized in conference proceedings. I'm still serving as an editor of that company. As technology evolved, we went from print to CDs to internet, changed from text-based publications to video recording. Oakville is already one of Canada's best places to live in. I'm looking forward to work with the Council, dealing with challenges, resolving issues, generate new ideas. As you could see, I've already been involved with serving the community. However, I'm certain that as a member of the Council, I will be able to do even more than what I could as a private citizen. I'm very happy living in this wonderful town that I called my home for over 2 decades. And before I thank you, I'd like to declare that I'm going to run at the fall election. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your information. Madam Clerk, the next draw.
The next delegate is Adrian Paris.
Mr. Paris, welcome. Council's looking forward to your information.
Thank you. Good evening, Your Worship, Mayor Burton, members of Council, family, and friends. This evening, you've heard from, and will hear from, passionate volunteers, local business leaders, environmental supporters, who have stepped forward to put their name for the vacant Ward 4 Town Councillor role and to serve the Oakville community. And that's just awesome. That's exactly what makes Oakville such a great place to live, work, and play. But those qualifications are just not enough for someone who has to succeed in this role, especially if you're looking for someone who has to hit the ground running in the role, given the steep learning curve. Ward 4 residents deserve a town councillor who not only understands the issues facing the community, but also understands how local government works and how Oakville works in order to address these issues. I've read the town's vision and the strategic plan, and I understand some of the aspirations of town council, and I fully support them. From my conversations with Ward 4 residents, I know that council has done a great job with defending the attacks on the Glen Abbey Golf Course and the construction on the Merton lands on Bronte, and are grateful to council for fighting on their behalf. But there are other key issues that I know still need to be addressed. Parking concerns from residents and businesses near the Oakville Hospital, bike lanes along 3rd line for Ward 4 residents to access the waterfront, and even accommodations for the upcoming branch renovations at the Glen Abbey Library. And these residents also have concerns that they share with other residents of Oakville. So they don't only talk about their issues, they talk about issues that are facing the community in Oakville as well, which are the impacts of new construction and how taxes and services of residents will be affected, traffic congestion on arterial roads during rush hour, lack of affordable housing for seniors looking to downsize, isolated newcomers and seniors who just need a helping hand. But knowing about these issues is just half the battle. You need someone who's able to understand how government works and is able to serve the residents of this ward effectively.
a little about my background. I have an undergrad in political science and a postgrad certificate in corporate communications. After I finished graduation, I completed an internship with the city of Mississauga in their corporate communications department, where I helped answer questions of residents, coordinate official events, and that kind of thing. I've also worked in a communications role for the city, for the engineering and transportation department at the city of Guelph, where I shared updates on local construction projects involving the building, maintenance, and reconstruction of roads, sidewalks, water mains, and sewers. This experience helps me understand how local government works, gives me an understanding of the behind-the-scenes work that staff needs to do in order to get things done, and also asked the right questions in order to keep projects on time, on budget, and share the impacts of work being done in the community. I've also been an active volunteer in the Oakville community. I've served a term on the Oakville Public Library Board. I've helped out at the Santa Claus Parade, the Terry Fox Run, and the United Way, which has helped me understand what makes Oakville such a great place to live. If I'm elected if I'm nominated for this role, if I get picked, you can expect me to help improve the engagement in this community. I understand that residents are looking for updates on what issues are brought to their councillor and looking for updates on how things are progressing in the community. They want to know when they bring an issue to council, that council is listening and addressing it. Not only the big issues like the Glen Abbey golf course, but also the small issues, maybe overnight parking on their street, where their grandma is going to move when she looks to downsize. So I think that experience, that knowledge, willing to listen, willing to serve the community and engage with residents is going to separate me from other candidates applying for this role. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paris, for your information. Madam Clerk, another draw, please.
The next candidate is Joel Dart.
Mr. Dart, welcome. Council looks forward to your information.
Thank you. Hi, good evening. My name is Joel Dart, and over hopefully the next 4.5 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about why I believe I would be a good candidate for this open position. I'm going to discuss a little bit about my background, how I view Oakville, as well as what I have done for Oakville so far, finally some of the issues, and most importantly, what I will do if you select me in this role. So in terms of my background, I have both a Bachelor of Business Administration as well as a Master's of Business Administration. I have over 19 years of experience in the business world, holding down roles such as sales, marketing, account management. I've had associates report to me in a sales manager role. I've also been an entrepreneur running my own company. And finally, I've also been hired as a consultant. There it is up there. Consultant. I've been a resident of Oakville since 2006, and I have 2 children. I cannot imagine a better place to raise my children than Oakville. In terms of my Oakville, I think Oakville is a great place. It has incredible parks, schools, and activities. Some of the events that there are that are free, such as the Children's Festival, the Canada Day Festival. Also, it's welcoming. It's a community that's looking to improve and a safe place to live. In terms of what I have done for Oakville, I have volunteered time. I have been a volunteer coach for the Oakville Little League Baseball, Oakville Angels Baseball, also the Oakville Basketball Club. I've helped out with the Terry Fox runs. Also been a volunteer coach for the Minor Oaks Hockey Association as well as the Oakville Soccer Club. I think it's important to be involved in your community. In terms of some of the community and issues, I think the one issue, I'll just touch on issues that have not been brought up because some have been brought up a few times. The one issue that really hits me is the fact that there was a Money Sense survey. Although it correctly said Oakville was the best place to raise children, it did have Oakville as the 4th best place to live in Ontario. That's an issue to me. I think it is the best place to live in Ontario and should be recognized that way. In terms of some of the other issues when I was going around and getting some endorsements that came up were the fact that the safety of children, speed bumps maybe being looked at in places where kids are playing was an issue that came up, because I know there's been issues where people are speeding, whether it be on Dundas Street, but issues in terms of in play areas where you don't want to be speeding too much when there's three-year-olds who could be running out onto the street. Another thing that came up was lids for the blue boxes, and I've seen that a few times when I've brought my blue box and come back from work and I see garbage being blown around this great city. So that's another issue that came up that has not been discussed. But you see some of the other issues that there should be ongoing is the maintenance of the roads, water, and policies. In terms of, most importantly, what I will do if I am chosen for this role, I will be an active participant in the meetings, the committees, and the events that there are. I will work hard. I'll value the resources and the time. I'll also listen and action any Ward 4 issues that are brought up to me. And also, I'll be honest, accountable, and transparent. I'll also read the policy documents thoroughly so that I'm up to date on everything that's going on, not only in Ward 4, but across all of Oakville. And finally, I will make sure to uphold Oakville's strategic plan so that this great city becomes even greater, and so that whenever there's the next survey, Oakville will rightfully be selected as the best city to live in Ontario. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dart, for your information. Madam Clerk, time for another draw.
The next candidate is Peter Longo.
Mr. Longo, welcome. Council looks forward to your presentation.
Thank you. I've lived in Oakville for the last 16 years, and I currently live in Ward 4. I recognize that being a councillor is an important role, and I've read and can live up to Council's Code of Conduct. My education, work experience, and community involvement make me the right choice for this position. I've known and worked with Councillor Elgar for more than 16 years, and I know I can work with him in supporting the Ward 4 constituents. I can also work effectively with the current council. I'm aligned with council's determination to protect and maintain a vibrant community with good fiscal management to provide important community services for all. I bring a balanced perspective on issues. I'm a fair and effective decision maker, and my career advancements show and indicate this. I have a Master's of Environmental Studies in Urban Planning from New York University, and since 2002, I've been using my planning background to participate in the protection of green space in North Oakville. I was a citizen representative on the Stakeholder Advisory Committee for OPA 198, and this committee set the groundwork for the creation of Oakville's natural heritage system. Oakville's NHS led to the creation of the Halton Region's Enhanced Natural Heritage System. I'm the past chair of Halton's Ecological and Environmental Advisory Committee, and I'm the current chair of the Natural Heritage Advisory Committee for Halton Region. It's with these committees that I've worked closely with Councillor Elgar to advise Regional Council on all matters relating to the environment and our natural heritage. Most recently, witnessing Club Link's attempt to develop Glen Abbey Golf Course, I again mobilized my effort as part of the Save Glen Abbey Coalition to add my voice on behalf of myself, my family and friends, and the thousands upon thousands of people within Oakville and abroad who recognize the need to fight to protect the heart of Oakville. There will be other Glen Abbeys to protect. So a balanced and smart approach to growth needs to be undertaken, and the current Livable Oakville official plan is the roadmap to carrying this out. The current council has recognized this in their strategic plan, and I wholeheartedly support the Livable Oakville plan and council's strategic plan. I recognize the time commitment required, and given my current professional and personal circumstances, I've had to put on hold my interest in running in Ward 4 local council in the fall. I've been a coach with the Oakville Soccer Club for the past 12 years. And for the last 7 years, I've actually coached 2 teams year-round, which is like 38 weeks in a year. But my commitment to coaching is a worthwhile investment of my time, as the players on the teams that I've coached represent the future of our town. I've worked in the private and public sector for 22 years. I'm currently the Senior Director of Strategic Sourcing and Logistics for the newly formed health network comprising of St. Michael's Hospital, St. Joseph Health Centre, and Providence. I have extensive experience in working with the Ontario Public Sector Procurement Directive, and I know the importance of wisely spending taxpayers' dollars in order to maximize the best outcomes. I've worked at local, provincial, and national and international levels, and I think my experience will be beneficial to council. I pledge that you will find me a person who will listen and communicate carefully, be perceptive and respectful of all, building strong relationships, being approachable, fair, patient, and consistent in my dealings with all. I also know that I have the support of my family, who are here with me tonight, so please choose me to join you as the Ward 4 local councillor this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Longo, for your information. Madam Clerk?
The next speaker is David Haslam.
Mr. Haslam, welcome. Council looks forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, staff, and everybody else in the room. Well, I'm David Haslam, and I'm here to give you a pitch to why I think I would like to be the councillor for Ward 4. Professionally, I came to Canada 22 years ago. I'm an environmental chemist. That's what I went to school for. By a summer job that went drastically wrong, I ended up in printed packaging. Nothing to do with environmental chemistry. I've been a printing packaging professional since then. I've started a couple of businesses up, built them up successfully and sold them. I've worked with and sit on the Packaging Association of Canada Environmental Board, Gravure Association of Americas. I'm the technical chair of that. I also write papers for the European Rotogravure Association. So I ended up in technical print, nothing to do with chemistry. I don't know how I got there. How did I end up in Oakville? I arrived in Canada. My wife and I, we decided that it was a fresh place to start. We found Oakville. We fell in love with it immediately. Then we made our babies here. They were both born at Oakville, Trafalgar. And we've been an active part of the community ever since. My children involved in soccer, rugby, swimming, and therefore we've been involved in soccer, rugby, swimming. A number of council may know me through the rugby club because I'm somewhat integrated and heavily integrated in the rugby club, as well as staff and the people I've worked with there. You know, I've helped over the years grow the rugby club from a little hovel on 9th Line with 100 senior players to the largest rugby club in Canada, promoting international athletes and putting them on the international stage, all from Oakville. Rugby is a large part of my passion, but what I've really found as I kind of developed, not just growing the game and growing the club, but working with the town, working with the staff, is there's so much more to Oakville and so much more that I'd like to do and I think I can bring. I've got a track record of delivering track record down the road. I'd like to work with town council because I'd like to sit with these people and I'd like to learn from you and I'd like to figure out how to do it and how to do it better. You're the experts in place at the moment and I think I can really learn from you and then I think I can contribute as well. I have an energy, an unbound energy. I'm inspirational and I can get people to follow me and I can lead. And I will do that and I'll do that. And I'm not doing that to do anything maverick. I really want to work with the town. I absolutely support the strategic plan. With respect to Ward 4, I'm not a single item agenda person. Glen Abbey is very, very important, but there's a lot of other things that are very, very important in this town. And I think the progress the town council has made so far on Glen Abbey has been very good. And I really hope that that continues to succeed. It's going to be a long battle, and it's not over yet. But I'd like to be part of the team that's fighting to preserve that. On a personal note, I really believe that I can give. I've got a lot to give, and a lot of you have worked with me in the past. You know, I can be pretty relentless, and I'm sure at times I'm a pain in the wherever. But we get things done, and we make things happen. And everything I do has always been for the good of growing, firstly my game, but growing my club, growing the Oakville, growing our name, our reputation, putting our name on the map, making sure everything that I touch and I influence in my life, which at the moment is rugby, but I'd like it to be more, but at the moment is rugby, is I've put us right up the top. And I want to continue to do that and do that with Oakville. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haslam, for your information. Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Hart Jansen.
Mr. Jansen, welcome. Council looks forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Your Worship and councillors. First, let me congratulate you and town staff for striving admirably to make Oakville the most livable town in Canada. In the many conversations I've had with residents in Ward 4, most of them are satisfied with their town and happy to live in Oakville. However, concerns were definitely expressed. Before we get into those, let me introduce myself. I've lived in Oakville for 15 years. Just months after I moved here, I helped prevent an inappropriate commercial development that was to take place in my neighborhood in a case that went to the OMB. That began my leadership activity on the board of the West Harbour Residents Association for over 14 years until today. To help improve social cohesion in Oakville, I founded a meetup group called Go Local Oakville. It now has 670 members, and we've hosted over 400 face-to-face meetings on environmental and social topics. In order to assist Oakville residents, I've attended dozens of council meetings and committee of adjustment meetings and have successfully made numerous delegations on their behalf. I ran a spirited and serious campaign in the Ward 2 by-election in 2016 that put me about 100 votes behind Ray Chisholm's winning tally. Key to my platform was a better framework to ensure appropriate development in stable neighborhoods. And I'm pleased to see this is now close to implementation through the proposed LVC bylaw. On the broader career front, I have co-founded 2 companies, served on several corporate boards and nonprofit boards. I'm currently working 1 day a week for the nonprofit Malnutrition Matters. I'm the elected volunteer leader of the Halton Council of Canadians. And as volunteer treasurer of the Halton Food Council, I'm trying to create local jobs and improve food security. Importantly, I have come to understand Ward 4 issues via dozens of face-to-face conversations with residents. The key issues they identified are, number 1, surprise, preservation of green space, including Glen Abbey and the Merton lands. I've supported the Save Glen Abbey Coalition since its inception and will strongly support continued efforts to keep Glen Abbey green, even as the entire Glen Abbey community has now been absorbed into Ward 2. Ward 4 residents, and indeed all Oakville residents, love their green space and their trails and want to preserve them. 2, road safety. You've heard it before. Some examples, there's some problems near Loyola High School on Notting Hill Gate, creating some hazards. Plenty of people mention speeding on residential streets, such as Bloomfield Drive. There's a lot of other ones. Number 3, neighborhood security, concern with increased break-ins, drug use and drug selling on the trail network. The Glen Abbey Neighborhood Association are forming a neighborhood watch group in response to this. Number 4, retail marijuana stores and their location. I support council's approach, as you discussed at your March 19th council meeting. And number 5, is Oakville doing enough on sustainability and climate change? Room for improvement there. And on that front, I met dozens of Ward 4 residents at my second appearance at EcoFest, which is organized by the students at Pilgrim Wood School. And I was there explaining the benefits of the ultra energy efficient house that my wife and I built here in Oakville. I hope that my nonprofit work with women in Africa and Asia, my support of refugee families from Kosovo and Syria, my interracial family, and my active long-term support for the Women of Halton Action movement shows that even as a mature male, I can represent and advance the interests of all Ward 4 residents, with women front and center. I have received over 40 endorsements from Ward 4 residents, including from members of the Save Glen Abbey Coalition and the Fairway Hills Community Association. And I have more than 40 additional endorsements from elsewhere in Oakville. As interim councillor of Ward 4, I would act with integrity and discretion, faithfully represent the town of Oakville and its residents, support council's current strategic plan, contribute immediately to council's work via my understanding of the corporation's functions, the official plan, zoning bylaws, etc. I hope I have shown that I walk my talk and that I have the integrity, the energy, capability, and strong motivation that Ward 4 deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jansen, for your presentation. Madam Clerk, choose again.
The next speaker is Sushila Pereira.
Welcome, Ms. Pereira. Council is looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you. Trust, love, and respect are the pillars on which a strong community stands. Without love and understanding, there is no trust or respect. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of council, and your worship, Mayor Burton. My name is Sushila Pereira. I feel grateful for this opportunity to share the responsibilities of a town councillor with you. Some of the responsibilities are setting policy direction of the town, authorizing revenue and expenses to provide Oakville residents with municipal services that meet the needs and expectations of the community, reviewing land use and development issues. The role of council is to represent the public. Considering I will be nominated as town councillor for Ward 4, I will do my utmost to act with integrity, honesty, and responsibility to find and resolve the highest priority needs of the community. I know I will be a great town councillor because I have a good sense of family values ingrained in me and understanding of diverse cultures in our growing community right here in Oakville. I also intend to run in the 2018 municipal election being held in October 2018. Right now, the most important challenge facing our communities is a lack of love, understanding, and respect. We tend to put these age-old basic family values on the back burner, whereas they have to be front and center for every individual we serve. We need to also up-level our understanding of our youth and give them our support. Sometimes our young people try to replace lack of love with drug use, and they think it will take away the pain, but it does not. Every family must be responsible to show love and care for their children. It does not matter what job you do, you deserve love. From the janitor to the mayor, everybody needs love and respect. Housing is another great necessity in some parts of Oakville. Although Oakville is recognized as the best town, there are still some pockets where people are living below average life. I know that because I visit families through St. Vincent de Paul Society and bring food vouchers to them, as well as furniture donations that we received at our church. Finally, what I love about the town of Oakville is its accountability and transparency policy. Accountability, transparency, and openness are standards of good government that enhance public trust. Wherever possible, the municipality will engage the public throughout its decision-making process, which will be open, visible, and transparent. So it's kudos to the town of Oakville for all that they do for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Madam Clerk, the next draw.
The next candidate is Christopher Saunders.
Welcome, Mr. Saunders. Council's looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Burton and Council, for this opportunity to speak to you as a candidate for the position of Councillor for Ward 4. My name is Chris Saunders. I've lived in Ward 4 for 20 years. My family has lived in Oakville since the 1940s and in Halton since they arrived as pioneers in the 1830s. I decided to run for this position in order to continue the good work of our current council. At this critical time, I believe this seat needs to be occupied by someone who supports the strategic plan, Vision 2057, and most importantly, the livable Oakville growth plan. Issues impacting Oakville and Ward 4 include the potential redevelopment of Glen Abbey, the rapid growth along Highway 5, the strain on the current services and amenities, the need for a balanced, sustainable transportation strategy, and to protect our environment, all of which feed into the vision of a livable Oakville. I'd like to spend the next few minutes talking about what I bring to this position and why I'm the right person for the job. I will bring my commitment to Oakville. As I mentioned, my family have lived in Oakville for over 70 years. I've coached for many years in the Minor Oaks Hockey Association, Oakville Girls Softball Association, Oakville Soccer Club, Oakville Baseball. I'm a member of the Oakville Optimists and the Knights of Columbus. Over the years, I have volunteered for many charitable initiatives, including the United Way, the Optimist Christmas Tree Sale, the Gala Days for the Oakville Skating Club, and the MS Walk, to name a few. As councillor, I will use this commitment to provide outstanding service and dedication to the citizens of Oakville and town staff. I also will bring my education and professional experience. I'm a chartered accountant and a CPA. I've also completed the CICA in-depth tax program. I have an MBA in organizational development and finance. I worked in both government and the private sector as an auditor, internal auditor, and a business advisor. I have chaired and been a member of several government committees on diversity in the workplace and Aboriginal engagement. While at the province, I helped develop the poverty reduction strategy for the First Nations of Ontario that I personally presented to the Grand Chiefs of Ontario. As a person with Aboriginal heritage, this was particularly important to me. I have won and been nominated several times as a Manager of the Year in the Ontario region of the Canada Revenue Agency, and I also own my own small business. These experiences will allow me to positively contribute to the town's excellent record of fiscal management and sustainability. I will also be able to positively contribute to the new Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan with its focus on poverty reduction. In addition, I will use my management experience to contribute to the building of a positive and supportive work environment for the Oakville staff. I will also be able to bring my work experience. I've worked for all three levels of government, federal, provincial, municipal. Within these experiences, I've worked at various levels, headquarters, regional, and the local level. I've worked for ministers, deputy ministers, commissioners, and secretary of cabinet. I have worked in administration, policy development, enforcement, and operations. I currently hold a secret level security clearance with the government, and I speak and read French and English. I have audited and been the manager in charge of numerous municipal audits across Canada, including the town of Oakville a few years ago. So I understand municipal financing, financial statements, and reporting requirements. I've also been a leader and a key member in several groups involved in planning and executing some of the largest program transformations at both the Ministry of Finance and the Canada Revenue Agency. While working with the Ontario government, I was a manager of the Tax Benefit Policy Group in the Office of the Budget. My team developed most of the policies surrounding the HST, and as well the Seniors Homeowners Property Tax Benefit, Provincial Sales Tax Benefit, Working Income Tax Benefit, and the Child Tax Benefit, all of which are important tools in the reduction of poverty and will allow me to positively contribute to the community safety and well-being plan. All these experiences will allow me to bring a strong fiduciary stewardship to Oakville in support of the open, ethical, and accountable government. I will also bring my commitment to the environment. Over the last several years, I've been working with farmers in Flamborough and Halton region on properties that border the Halton Conservation Authority. I've been working with the authority on tree, land, soil preservation in the restoration of the farm properties. I've planted wildflowers and brought in bees to enhance the environment. I've had to educate myself on wetlands, soil preservation, wildlife habitats, natural flora and fauna. Through this process, I've gained a great appreciation of the environment and its place in our society. I will bring this real-life experience to the Council and hopefully add this knowledge to any future discussions surrounding Glen Abbey, the Merton lands, and the other environmental issues that we may discuss. This seat needs a strong councillor who is a good team player, interested in continuing the good work to date and positively contributing to future challenges that we may meet. And finally, I do not intend to run in the next election for this position. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Saunders, for your information. Madam Clerk.
The next candidate is Adnan Shabazz.
Welcome, Mr. Shabazz. Council looks forward to your presentation.
Good evening, members of council, Mr. Mayor, and most importantly, citizens of Oakville. My name is Adnan Shabazz, and I'm standing here before you asking for you to appoint me to be the next Ward 4 councillor in the town of Oakville. Sorry, the slide buttons aren't working. Perfect. So I've been in this council a few times, and whenever I sit in the gallery, I take a look at that, the coat of arms, and I see that it says Avancé. And I ask myself, what does that mean? And it means to advance, to go forward, to move forward. And I truly believe that Oakville is a leading edge municipality in Canada. It has done so many things to continue to move forward, to sort of set the tone for what the country can be and what municipalities should strive to become in terms of keeping our green spaces green, in terms of saving our watershed lands, in terms of creating so many pieces of legislation to ensure that Oakville stays pristine for future generations. For as we move forward, people want to remain here and stay here. So a little bit of who am I? That's a picture just taken yesterday. I didn't run the full marathon, but we ran a little piece of it. My family is actually here with me today because they understand how important this commitment is to me and the time and effort that it requires for me to say to myself that I'm actually going to sit with these esteemed colleagues right here sitting on this table. Been in Oakville for almost 20 years. My son was born here, goes to school here. My wife works here. My mom is here. My cousins, my aunts, my uncles. This is home. This is who I am. I'm in Oakville. Born and raised in the city of Toronto. My parents came in the mid-70s, worked really, really hard, factories and in different sorts of retail environments to put me, my brother, and my sister all through school. And education is the true equalizer. I'm still in education. I'm actually a vice principal in one of our neighboring school boards. And I truly believe that education is how we can move forward. And this has allowed me to understand that each and every individual can find success. It's our job as sort of public service to find those avenues of success for them. So why am I here? I don't have a political agenda. I haven't been elected in as the rest of you have been. So as such, I can't stand here and say I'm going to do this and this and this and this because I don't have the trust of the people. What I do have, though, is I understand the role of a counselor, and I understand that for the next 4 or 5 months, my role will be to listen to, the citizens of Ward 4, to advocate on behalf of the citizens of Ward 4, and to be a resource for the citizens of Ward 4. When they email me, when they call me, I'll be there for them. However, I do have some foundational values that underpin the decisions that I make in my life as a whole. Healthy communities. Environmental protection is very important to me. Ensuring that we continue to move forward and we continue to provide spaces, green spaces, parkland, healthy water for future generations to come, including transit enhancements. As an educator, as someone who's actually worked with senior citizens in the past as well, I understand how important it is for people's own mental and social health to be engaged within their community. And I believe libraries and community centers are something that we have here in Oakville that are being utilized effectively, but also can be utilized even more effectively. I just actually read the strategic plan for the libraries. It's fantastic in regards to creating innovation spaces, creation spaces to move forward. I totally agree with that, and I want to ensure that we continue to move forward with these spaces. Fiscal responsibility. As someone who actually works in the public service and who pays taxes as well, I understand how important it is to be very careful when taking care of the public purse. We need to be responsible in everything that we do. And if you really want to have a community, the best way to ensure people live within that community is to support local businesses within that community. And equity. Now, this is not an add-on for me by any means. My graduate work is in equity studies. This is the foundation upon which all decisions must be based. We live in a very pluralistic society and probably the best nation on earth without a doubt. And we need to ensure that we truly do represent the diverse faces of our community. And that means all different types of identities. Actually, walking in here today, my son asked me, what's on that flagpole? And you had the yellow flag flying for the Khalsa because it was their New Year's just over the last weekend, I believe. And that's what Oakville truly is. So why am I here again? I'm here to be a voice for the citizens of Ward 4, to be an advocate for the citizens of Ward 4, to be a resource for the citizens of Ward 4, and to promote the strategic vision of Oakville and continuing to work towards making Oakville the most livable town in Canada. I am asking you to sincerely consider me, Adnan Shabazz, to be appointed to this position. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Madam Clerk?
The next candidate is Lee Conley.
Ms. Conley, welcome. Council looks forward to your information.
Thank you, Mayor Burton, council, staff, and residents. My name is Lee Conley, and I want your vote. I have served on several boards of directors, both locally and nationally, for more than 10 years each. And during that time, I've worked closely with all levels of government, communities, and business stakeholders. My children are the fourth generation of my family to live in and be raised in Oakville. I will draw on that legacy and knowledge. I bring this up because we must remember our town history in order to manage and plan our future. Oakville has always been a special place to me. It still offers that small town friendliness that families value, yet has grown and developed in ways that benefit the town, making it the most livable town in Canada. In my youth, I volunteered planting trees in Oakville. Some of those trees, they're much larger and stronger now, much like the town of Oakville. But this is not about me. This is about Ward 4 and the town. And that's the attitude I bring to council. Ward 4 needs a long-time resident who knows how the town works and what the town needs. Ward 4 has had exceptional leadership in balancing development and protecting green space. Moving forward, Ward 4 needs to continue to balance development and protecting our green spaces, and to continue to provide comprehensive and progressive recreation programs and services. Simply, my platform is more of the same. To support the strategic plan and to continue the proactive and passionate protection and controlled growth, the Oakville Standard. The strategic plan outlines a sound plan that highlights areas that are important to Oakville and make Oakville the strong community residents value, such as good government. Oakville prides themselves in transparency and innovation, and I believe good government needs good data. Oakville has achieved this through open data with the WCCD Platinum certification. Oakville is already a leader in many areas, as seen when viewing the World Council on City Data's website, comparing Oakville to other cities in the world. We need to continue to do this. Other examples of good governance are the 2017 Citizen Survey. I'm not the only one who thinks the town is doing an outstanding job. Residents have rated the town's government programs and services all above 80%. This demonstrates the town's commitment to providing excellent services and programs to the residents. Environmental leadership. Oakville leads the way in protecting our tree canopy through the EIB project and providing an update to the private tree protection bylaw. And let's not forget one of the biggest items in Ward 4 in recent news, the designation of Glen Abbey Golf Course as a cultural heritage landscape. Economic growth. Oakville supports local businesses and facilitates partnerships, as well as hosting the RBC Canadian Open and hometown hockey. These are great initiatives that promote the economy and tourism in Oakville. Fiscal accountability. Approving the $323.7 million operating budget in 2018 that supports several programs and services while maintaining infrastructure and keeping the tax levy within inflation. Thank you very much. This is a good financial management, and we need to continue to source other funding initiatives to keep Oakville strong. And finally, outstanding services to residents. Oakville has revitalized the downtown Oakville with new Lakeshore Bridge and streetscape projects, and have also implemented the new Honk mobile app, making paying for parking downtown much easier. Oakville's strategic plan really emphasizes what is important to Oakville and its residents, and I want to be a part of that. Oakville has a strong commitment to its residents and puts them first while keeping taxes in line with inflation. And there aren't many towns or cities that can pride themselves on that. I want to be a part of this and help Oakville to continue to be the most livable town in Canada. I feel my experience and intimate knowledge of our town will complement the current town council. I will be able to hit the ground running and be an asset to Ward 4 and town council. That's the end of my presentation, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your information. Madam Clerk, the next draw.
The next candidate is, and the last, is Bob Vaudry.
Mr. Vaudry? Welcome. Council looks forward to your information.
Good evening. First of all, I want to congratulate all the other nominees. Good luck for the running. My name is Bob Vaudry. Bonsoir. My name is Bob Vaudry. Your worship, fellow councillors, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. I'm an ex-Montrealer, born and bred in Montreal. Moved here to Oakville about 10 years ago with my wife for the following reasons: the parks, the lake, how safe it is, how nice it is to raise a family, the walking, cycling, and running tracks that we have all over the town. I don't profess to know anything about the town council except for what I've watched and what I've heard in the videos, but I learned very, very quickly. I've been in the business world in management positions my entire career, and participated in both company growth and expansion, maintaining fiscal responsibility, and ensuring that the dollars are spent in the right place at the right time for the right reasons. I'm also on the board of directors for the Oakville Lawn Bowling Club down here in the downtown Oakville area, working very hard to increase our membership and keep our membership. And with a colleague of mine, we applied for and received a $25,000 grant from the New Horizon program from the Government of Canada. It was a long process that we went through. Bob, that's me, will be a strong voice for the people for what they feel is important to make them, and making them sure that it fits in our town's strategic and municipal plan. I work well in a group environment as a team member to accomplish a common goal. I also want to be part of a group of individuals such as yourselves, working towards maintaining and improving the livelihood and environment of our town. The issues of Ward 4, of what I've heard from the people I've spoken to while collecting signatures, are garbage. It's always windy on garbage recycling day. speeding on any given road down in Oakville here, the Glen Abbey Golf Course, of which I've had the privilege of playing a few times with some corporations, affordability, affordable housing, and the growth of the town. I would be a good counselor because of my experience in the business world, helping to attract major corporations into our town. I'm energetic, goal-driven to the end. I have the patience to listen to people about their concerns and vow to answer all of their questions, either by email, telephone, and taking the time to do what I have to do. The priorities to look at the priorities are to look at the growth of our town and the direction it's going in. I see young families moving into Oakville and putting down roots. It's our obligation to keep the town safe, to keep the town safe, the roads, the parks, the pathways clean, while increasing our population and helping us to maintain our town's progress. I love the green spaces, walking through the paths with the trees, with my 8-month-old golden retriever, and enjoying the scenery. My wife, who's here tonight, who you've probably known from previous meetings, is always behind me, as I'm always with her. My name is Bob Vaudry. I'm a resident of Ward 4, and I will work hard to maintain what we have built and watch it grow. Merci beaucoup for your time. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, sir, for your presentation. All right, council. The clerk is passing out the first ballot. You will vote for one candidate by marking an X in the space provided to the right of the candidate's name. And when you've indicated that you've marked your ballot, the clerk will collect it. Madam Clerk. You know what? I do need that on. The clerk reports that there have been 7 votes for Peter Longo and 2 for Rohit Damija and 1 for Gerald Pop. And she will now place this on the overhead so that people can tell who each councillor voted for. I congratulate Mr. Longo. And council, we need a motion to, and a seconder, that bylaw 2018-082, appointing Peter Longo, chosen by council to the office of Town Councillor Ward 4 for the remainder of this term of council, be passed. Councillor Elgar. And that the successful candidate be appointed to the Administrative Services Committee for the remainder of this term of council. Councillor Knoll is seconding that. So, Madam Clerk, you're clear on that. All those in favor? Congratulations, Mr. Longo. Once you've taken the declaration of office, we will seat you at the council table. You might want to come to the front. It's my pleasure to administer the declaration of office in accordance with Section 232 of the Municipal Act 2001, Councillor Longo. Having been elected to the office of Ward 4 Town Councillor in the town of Oakville, do you solemnly promise and declare that, 1, you will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability, 2, you have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. 3, you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. 4, you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, and you make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true, and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath. Councillor Longo, do you so declare?
I do.
It's my pleasure to confirm that the member of council has now taken the declaration of office declared before me at the town of Oakville this 7th day of May 2018. Councillor Longo, please accept my best wishes as you help govern the town of Oakville over the remainder of this term of council. And if it please council, I now invite you to come through the bar and come take your place at the council table. We will need a mover and seconder for the bylaw 2018-82. And Councillor Lischina and Councillor Knoll, all those in favor. And now we need a mover and seconder for the confirmatory bylaw 2018-083. And council, I will suggest that it would be a lovely gesture if Councillor Longo were to be the mover of that. He moves it. Councillor Elgar, Councillor Hutchins raised his hand. You're the seconder, sir? All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you, everybody. I thank you for your time and your patience. I salute the community. Our community benefits from the incredible wealth of experience, knowledge, and intellect that you saw on display today. I would say to every one of the applicants, you should get involved and continue to help us make this town Canada's most livable town. I salute every one of you and thank you for your participation this evening. Oakville is the better for the participation of all of us. And with that, I adjourn the meeting.